What if the battle for a desert planet held the key to humanity's future? Dune, Part 2 takes you deeper into a world of prophecy, rebellion and power, where every choice could reshape the galaxy. With stunning visuals, rich themes, and epic storytelling, this is more than just a sequel. It's the future of science fiction unfolding before your eyes. The return of Dune. Part 2 has generated immense excitement, and it's clear that the hype surrounding the film is not just a result of its natural connection to the success of the first installment, but also due to the way Dune 2021 revolutionized the science fiction genre. When Denis Villeneuve's adaptation of Frank Herbert's legendary novel first premiered, it didn't merely meet expectations, it shattered them. The film's intricate world-building, combined with its breathtaking visuals and meticulous attention to detail, created an experience that felt both grand and intimate. For fans of Herbert's work, it was a long-awaited cinematic realization of the sprawling, complex world they had imagined for decades. For newer audiences, the film introduced them to a completely new world, a stark, desert planet of Arrakis, rich with political intrigue, ecological significance, and a host of deeply human struggles. What made Dune 2021 so remarkable wasn't just the adaptation itself, but how it resonated with modern audiences. The film's themes of environmental collapse, political corruption, and the complexities of destiny and leadership were universal, speaking to contemporary fears and anxieties about our own world. Despite releasing during the height of the COVID-19 pandemic, which forced the film into a simultaneous theatrical and streaming release, Dune 2021 went on to achieve both commercial and critical success. The film's ability to draw in large audiences, even in such uncertain times, demonstrated its universal appeal. Its box office success and multiple award nominations underscored how Dune struck a chord not only with genre enthusiasts, but also with cinephiles who appreciated its artistic merit and philosophical depth. The film was not just a spectacle, it was an experience, immersing viewers in the stark beauty of Arrakis and the political web that enveloped the characters. Timothée Chalamet's portrayal of Paul Atreides, the reluctant hero caught in a battle between his own destiny and the planet's future, struck an emotional chord with many. With Dune now a global phenomenon, there was an undeniable sense that the first film had only just begun telling its story. The narrative had only scratched the surface, and audiences were hungry for more. As anticipation for Dune Part 2 builds, it's clear that the stakes are higher than ever. The first film set the stage by introducing key characters and establishing the central conflicts, but the real journey begins in the sequel. Part 2 promises to expand upon the groundwork laid in the first film, diving deeper into Paul's transformation from heir to the Atreides throne to a messianic leader of the Fremen. The political intrigue and maneuvering of House Harkonnen and the Emperor will continue to play a pivotal role, but it's the Fremen and their relationship with Arrakis that will take center stage. Fans are eagerly speculating about what's next for Paul, particularly as his visions of the future begin to conflict with his growing responsibility as a leader. Dune. Part 2 will explore how Paul grapples with his increasingly powerful, prophetic role and the impact it will have on his relationships, particularly with his mother, Lady Jessica, and his love interest, Chani. There's also the growing threat of the Harkonnen forces and the political intrigue of the galaxy, which continues to escalate, creating a power struggle for control of the spice melange. Fans are also eager to see how the visual language of the film will evolve. Dune 2021. Impressed with its spectacular depictions of Arrakis' desolate beauty, its powerful sandworms, and its high-tech futuristic architecture, In Part 2, Villeneuve is expected to take these visuals even further, expanding on the world building and giving a deeper look into the Fremen's culture, the deserts of Arrakis, and the political landscapes of the various factions vying for power. The anticipation of seeing the full scope of these new worlds, the battle for the spice and its implications for the galactic empire, has only heightened the excitement for Dune. Part 2. Ultimately, the stage is set for Part 2 to follow through on the promises made by its predecessor. Fans are buzzing with theories, from Paul's eventual embrace of his destiny to the growing tensions between the Fremen and the outside forces attempting to control their world. With Villeneuve's direction, the star-studded cast, and an unwavering commitment to the story's thematic depth and visual splendor, Dune. Part 2 promises to not only continue the narrative, but elevate it to new heights. The stakes are high, and the questions left unanswered by the first film are only growing more urgent, making the wait for the sequel all the more thrilling. The anticipation is not just about seeing the next chapter of Paul's journey. It's about witnessing the evolution of a world that has already captivated audiences, and imagining where it will go next, both within the story and within the landscape of modern cinema. Dune approaches its release. Fans are eagerly awaiting the continuation of Paul Atreides' journey, and the plot is slowly taking shape in their imaginations. The first film laid a solid foundation, introducing Paul's internal struggles, the shifting political dynamics of Arrakis, and the monumental forces at play in the universe. Part 2 promises to deepen these elements, particularly focusing on Paul's evolution into the prophesied Muad'Dib, the Fremen leader and savior. As Paul becomes more entangled in the Fremen way of life, the story will shift to a more intense exploration of leadership, power, and destiny. One of the most compelling aspects of the sequel will be Paul's ascent to power. No longer the young and naive heir to House Atreides, he is now stepping into a much larger role, not only as a leader of the Fremen, but also as a key figure in the larger political machinations of the galaxy. This transformation will not come without challenges. His newfound power will be tested both from within his own ranks and by external forces. His leadership will face opposition from various factions, and as he learns to navigate the intricacies of his position, Paul will begin to understand the weight of his destiny. A key aspect of the plot will undoubtedly revolve around the introduction of new characters, each bringing their own unique tensions and motivations to the unfolding story. One of the most highly anticipated characters is Princess Irulan, portrayed by Florence Pugh. In the Dune universe, Irulan is a politically astute figure, a member of the powerful Carino family, and a pawn in the web of political intrigue that surrounds the Atreides. Her introduction promises to add another layer of complexity to the already tense relationships at the heart of the story. As a potential bride to Paul, her role in the power dynamics between the Atreides, the Harkonnens, and the Emperor is crucial. Her character will likely be a formidable political player, maneuvering for her own interests while simultaneously navigating her marriage to Paul, who is also increasingly tied to the Fremen cause. Meanwhile, Fade Rautha, Austin Butler, the ambitious and ruthless Harkonnen heir, is expected to emerge as Paul's direct rival. Fade's intense rivalry with Paul has been hinted at since the first film, and his arrival in Part 2 will likely create a more personal, face-to-face conflict. Fade is a character defined by his cunning and brutal nature, and his role in the upcoming battles for control of Arrakis will be a defining moment for Paul's development. Their inevitable confrontation is not just a clash of individuals, but a clash of ideologies. Paul, the reluctant messiah, and Fade, the power-hungry heir to House Harkonnen, However, while character dynamics and rivalries will form the crux of the narrative, Dune Part 2 will also deepen the film's exploration of ecological and political themes introduced in the first film. Arrakis, with its vast deserts and the precious spice melange, is more than just a battleground for power. It's a living, breathing planet with its own ecosystem, and that ecosystem is about to undergo dramatic changes. With the Fremen now beginning to terraform Arrakis, their long-held dream of turning the desert world into a more hospitable place may come to fruition, but not without consequences. The complex relationship between the Fremen and the planet's ecology, particularly their desire to alter the landscape, will raise important questions about the cost of their dream and the impact it will have on the spice trade, which remains at the center of intergalactic power struggles. The terraforming of Arrakis, while offering hope for a more sustainable world, also presents a risk to the balance of power and the very essence of what makes Arrakis so valuable. As the planet changes, so too will the political landscape, and Paul must contend with whether or not he can protect his people while fulfilling his destiny. This conflict between Paul's personal desires and the grander role fate has set for him will serve as the driving tension throughout Dune Part 2. At the heart of the story is the struggle between the individual and the collective, between self-determination and destiny. Paul's internal battle will be more pronounced as he grapples with the knowledge of what's at stake for Arrakis, the Fremen, and the entire universe. He will be forced to make choices that challenge his morality and his sense of self. The deeper Paul dives into his powers, the more his role as a political and religious leader will be called into question. Will he become the savior the Fremen expect him to be, or will he fall victim to the very power structures he hopes to dismantle? As the stakes continue to rise, Dune Part 2 will delve into the profound political and ecological issues introduced in the first film. The fragile balance between progress and preservation, the cost of power, and the consequences of leadership will be explored with even greater depth. The terraforming of Arrakis, the intensifying rivalry with House Harkonnen, and Paul's internal journey toward his destiny will make the sequel not just a continuation of the story, but a deeper examination of the themes that resonate with contemporary issues like climate change, resource exploitation, and political instability. These themes, though rooted in the fictional universe of Dune, reflect anxieties that are very much alive in the real world today, making the film's narrative not only a thrilling adventure, but also a compelling commentary on the larger forces shaping our future. The environmental and societal themes introduced in the first film are not only expanded upon, but deepened, reflecting a heightened sense of urgency in the narrative. Denis Villeneuve's adaptation of Frank Herbert's Dune in 2021 set the stage for a powerful commentary on resource exploitation, ecological collapse, and sustainability. The planet Arrakis, with its vast deserts and precious spice melange, was more than just a setting. It became a symbol of wealth, power, and destruction. This delicate balance between prosperity and environmental destruction will be further explored in Part 2, which promises to confront pressing contemporary issues such as climate change, resource depletion, and political instability. The most compelling aspect of Dune Part 2 is how it elevates the conversation about the exploitation of natural resources. In the first film, the spice melange was the driving force behind the political economy of the galaxy, making Arrakis the most valuable planet in existence. This wealth, however, comes at a tremendous cost to the planet's fragile environment. Arrakis is a harsh, barren world where the Fremen, a desert-dwelling people, have long adapted to their surroundings, living in harmony with the desert's demands while fighting for survival. The spice trade, the lifeblood of the universe's economy, is not only the source of enormous wealth, but also the reason behind the planet's degradation. The ecological devastation that results from the spice extraction process is palpable, as the vast desert landscape is scarred by the industrial activity necessary to harvest the melange. As the story progresses in Part 2, the Fremen's ultimate goal of terraforming Arrakis becomes central to the narrative. Their dream of turning the planet into a more hospitable environment is filled with both hope and peril. On the one hand, the terraforming of Arrakis represents a potential solution to the planet's harsh conditions, offering a chance for a sustainable future. But on the other hand, this endeavor also raises important questions about the price of progress. As the Fremen begin their mission to transform Arrakis, they are forced to confront the ecological consequences of altering their environment. This plotline serves as a direct reflection of today's global struggles with climate change and environmental degradation. The quest to terraform Arrakis mirrors the real-world ambition to address climate change by reshaping ecosystems and pursuing sustainable solutions, yet it also highlights the complexities and dangers of trying to control and manipulate nature. For Paul Atreides, the protagonist of the saga, the question of environmental stewardship becomes deeply entwined with his own rise to power. In Part 2, Paul steps into a leadership role among the Fremen, the desert people whose culture and survival have been shaped by their harsh environment. His journey will increasingly revolve around his struggle to balance the preservation of the planet's fragile ecosystem with his role as the leader of the Fremen and a messianic figure. This internal conflict will serve as a metaphor for the tensions in today's world, where individuals, governments, and corporations are often caught between the desire to exploit natural resources for economic gain and the urgent need to protect the environment for future generations. As Paul grapples with his destiny, he will face moral dilemmas about the cost of progress and the consequences of his actions, not only for the people of Arrakis, but for the galaxy at large. At the heart of Dune, Part 2 is a profound exploration of political instability and its relationship to environmental issues. The battle for control of Arrakis becomes more than just a struggle for power. It is a microcosm of the global struggles that many societies face today. In the film, the Fremen's dream of a transformed, more sustainable Arrakis will come into direct conflict with the forces that seek to maintain control over the spice trade and the planet's resources. The ruling class, led by the Harkonnens and the Emperor, represents the entrenched political powers that profit from the exploitation of natural resources, often disregarding the long-term consequences. As these factions vie for control, the Fremen's insurgent efforts to reshape their world will serve as a symbol of resistance against imperialism, greed, and environmental destruction. The film also touches on the broader theme of political instability, as the struggles over control of Arrakis parallel the real-world instability caused by resource scarcity and the power imbalances that emerge from it. Much like the geopolitics surrounding oil and other vital resources in the real world, the spice melange becomes a symbol of both conflict and control. The people of Arrakis are caught in the crossfire, with their land and their future being shaped by forces beyond their control. This dynamic mirrors the global struggle for resources that often exacerbates political tensions and drives instability on Earth. As Paul's journey unfolds, the film will likely delve deeper into his role as a leader who must navigate the shifting tides of political and environmental conflict. As a ruler, Paul faces the harsh realities of leadership, including the burden of decision-making that will have far-reaching consequences for the future of Arrakis and its people. His transformation into Muad'Dib, a messianic figure, will be tested not just by external enemies, but by the very ideological forces that drive his rise to power. His relationship with the Fremen, the planet, and the spice will serve as the axis around which the political and ecological themes of the film revolve. Will Paul's dream of a better future for Arrakis come at the cost of the planet's delicate balance? And can he truly preserve both his humanity and the fragile environment that sustains his people? Dune, Part 2, will undoubtedly continue to resonate with contemporary audiences who are deeply concerned about the future of the planet and the power structures that shape global society. The film's depiction of resource exploitation, political corruption, and ecological sustainability will speak to the anxieties of modern audiences who are increasingly aware of the urgent need to address climate change, political instability, and the exploitation of natural resources. The movie's powerful commentary on these issues provides not only an exciting narrative, but also a thoughtful reflection on the direction humanity is heading. One where the choices we make today will have profound consequences for the world of tomorrow. Through its depiction of Arrakis and the Fremen's struggle, Dune, Part 2 will continue to challenge viewers to think critically about the complex relationship between power, environment, and survival. Denis Villeneuve's direction in the first film set a new benchmark for how science fiction can be realized on the big screen, capturing both the majesty and menace of the desert planet Arrakis. The visual experience of the first film was not just about spectacular imagery. It was about immersing the audience in a world where the environment itself felt like a character, one that was both beautiful and dangerous. The vast, endless sand dunes created an overwhelming sense of scale, highlighting the vastness and isolation of Arrakis, while the intimate close-ups of key characters such as Paul, Timothée Chalamet, and Lady Jessica, Rebecca Ferguson, anchored the film emotionally. These carefully constructed visuals made the personal and political struggles feel as large as the planet itself, tying individual journeys to the monumental forces shaping the universe. In Part 2, this visual language will expand in both scale and complexity, deepening the world building and pushing the boundaries of what was achieved in the first film. Villeneuve's meticulous attention to detail, combined with the extraordinary visual effects team behind the scenes, will bring new aspects of the Dune universe to life. The first film introduced us to the sweeping desert landscapes of Arrakis, but in the sequel we will see a broader, more varied portrayal of the planet and its evolving ecosystem. As the Fremen begin their ambitious terraforming projects, the once desolate landscape of Arrakis will slowly transform, offering a stunning contrast between the harsh, barren desert and the potential for a new, more sustainable world. This transformation will not only be visually striking, but also thematically significant, as the changing environment reflects the evolving power dynamics and political tensions at the heart of the story. One of the most exciting aspects of Dune, Part 2, is the promise of grander action sequences and more immersive world-building. The Sandworms, which have become one of the most iconic elements of the Dune saga, are set to appear on an even larger scale, showcasing their immense size and power. The worm-riding scenes, which are central to Fremen culture and warfare, will likely be more breathtaking and awe-inspiring in this sequel, as the Fremen fight for control of their planet and navigate the complex political landscape. The vastness of Arrakis will be further emphasized through these action sequences, heightening the sense of both danger and adventure. Moreover, the intricate use of color and lighting, which was so prominent in the first film, is expected to play an even larger role in Part 2. The vibrant orange glow of the desert sun, the stark contrasts of shadow and light, and the shimmering heat waves of the sand dunes were all carefully crafted to evoke a sense of atmosphere and tone. In the sequel, as the Fremen's terraforming efforts take root, we can expect a broader palette of colors to emerge, lush greens, or perhaps more varied desert landscapes, signaling the changing face of Arrakis. This evolution in the visual design of the planet will mirror the changes in its people and politics, amplifying the thematic connection between the physical environment and the narrative's core issues. The contrast between the bright, unforgiving heat of the desert and the deep, dark shadows of political intrigue will continue to define the mood of the film, underlining the tension between hope and destruction, progress and preservation. Villeneuve's approach to blending grand, sweeping shots with intimate personal moments will continue to be a key aspect of the visual storytelling in Part 2. While the film will undoubtedly feature breathtaking sequences of vast sandstorms, epic battles, and the looming threat of the Harkonnens, the quieter moments, the close-ups of Paul Atreides' internal struggles, or the poignant exchanges between characters, will continue to be just as impactful. This balance between the macro and the micro is what makes Villeneuve's visual storytelling so effective. The monumental scale of Arrakis will never overshadow the personal journeys of the characters. Instead, these two elements will work in tandem, with the environment serving as a backdrop to the emotional and political conflicts at play. As the narrative unfolds, the visuals will play a crucial role in shaping the themes of the film. For example, the Fremen efforts to terraform Arrakis will be visually represented not just as a physical transformation of the planet, but also as a metaphor for the human desire to shape the world to fit one's needs. The beauty of the desert, its harshness and its ability to both sustain and destroy, will be heightened by these visual contrasts. The oppressive heat of the desert, with its endless sand and scorching sun, will likely serve as a reminder of the planet's inherent danger and the cost of survival. On the other hand, the growing sense of hope and renewal as the Fremen work to change the landscape will be shown through the introduction of new, more vibrant colors and textures, marking the ongoing tension between the status quo and the desire for transformation. Additionally, the lighting and cinematography will continue to reflect the duality of Paul's journey. His rise as a messianic figure among the Fremen is fraught with both glory and sacrifice. The visual design will be used to mirror this internal conflict, contrasting moments of brightness and hope with the dark, shadowy consequences of his choices. Whether it is the golden glow of the sun that represents Paul's burgeoning leadership, or the ominous shadows that encroach upon his destiny, the visuals in Dune Part 2 will be integral in conveying the weight of his transformation. Ultimately, Dune Part 2 promises to push the boundaries of visual storytelling even further, creating a more immersive and dynamic cinematic experience. Villeneuve's unique blend of grand scale and personal intimacy, combined with the expanded world-building and cutting-edge visual effects, will allow audiences to feel the vastness of Arrakis and the depth of its characters in ways that go beyond mere spectacle. The visuals will not just be eye candy, they will be essential to the storytelling, helping to convey the film's political, ecological, and emotional themes. The stunning landscapes, the grandeur of the action sequences, and the subtle use of lighting and color will all play pivotal roles in shaping the narrative, guiding the audience through the complex journey of Paul Atreides and the Fremen as they navigate the ever-evolving world of Arrakis. Draws nearer, its influence on the wider science fiction genre is already evident, setting the stage for a seismic shift in how the genre is perceived and approached. Denis Villeneuve's remarkable adaptation of Frank Herbert's epic saga has done more than just bring a beloved story to the big screen. It has revitalized the entire sci-fi genre by proving that it can be both visually stunning and deeply thought-provoking. Sci-fi, long associated with dazzling special effects and futuristic landscapes, now has a new standard, a genre that can also tackle complex societal, political, and environmental issues with the same sophistication as any prestige drama. Through Dune, Villeneuve has redefined what sci-fi can achieve, merging awe-inspiring visuals with poignant themes about ecology, power, human nature, and the cost of destiny. The success of the Dune franchise, both critically and commercially, is already shaping the future trajectory of the genre. In a world dominated by franchise-driven blockbusters, Dune stands out as a testament to the power of storytelling and the strength of a singular visionary director. It shows that sci-fi films can be intellectual and rich in philosophical discourse while still reaching a massive audience. As a result, we are likely to see an influx of films in the genre that attempt to balance complex themes with cinematic spectacle, challenging filmmakers to push creative boundaries in the same way Villeneuve has. The combination of grand, world-building narratives with humanist, thought-provoking themes is something that filmmakers will undoubtedly draw from, inspiring new works that explore not only speculative futures, but also the moral and ethical questions that come with them. Beyond the immediate impact on cinema, Dune's influence is likely to spread through other media such as television, literature, and video games. The world of Arrakis, with its vast political intrigue, rich culture, and ecological complexities, has already inspired a resurgence in science fiction novels and adaptations that delve into similar themes of power, sustainability, and social structures. The intricate world-building and vast lore of Dune provide fertile ground for spin-offs and new creative ventures, and it is easy to imagine the storylines and characters expanding into serialized formats on television or immersive narratives in video games. Shows and games that tap into similar themes of ecological devastation, political intrigue, and the consequences of unchecked technological advancement are already beginning to emerge, making Dune's impact felt across multiple platforms. Perhaps one of the most profound ways in which Dune will influence future sci-fi is through its reflection of contemporary anxieties about the future. Themes of climate change, political instability, and the consequences of overexploitation of resources are central to the Dune saga, and they resonate deeply with today's global concerns. As our world faces mounting challenges related to environmental degradation, power struggles, and the rapid development of technology, Dune offers a cautionary tale about what could happen if these issues are left unchecked. The film's portrayal of the planet Arrakis, a world torn apart by the exploitation of its spice resources, mirrors the exploitation of natural resources on Earth and underscores the dangers of uncontrolled power. This mirrors real-world concerns about ecological collapse and the increasing frequency of political conflict sparked by resource scarcity. However, what makes Dune so impactful is not just that it highlights these problems, but that it also offers possible solutions, or at the very least, the moral dilemmas humanity faces in attempting to address them. In many ways, the Dune series demonstrates that science fiction is not just about imagining dystopian futures, but about offering potential paths forward. Paul Atreides' journey is one of navigating the complexities of power, destiny, and responsibility, and in doing so, Dune speaks to our own struggles with leadership, sustainability, and the consequences of unchecked ambition. The film asks whether humanity can evolve past its destructive tendencies and whether the future can be shaped by the will to create a more harmonious, sustainable world. These questions resonate not just within the realm of fiction, but in the real-world context as well. The future of sci-fi inspired by Dune will likely continue to reflect the increasing urgency of confronting our contemporary issues. As audiences become more attuned to the challenges of the real world, sci-fi has the potential to serve as both a warning and an inspiration. Sci-fi's ability to imagine alternative futures, whether utopian or dystopian, offers a unique space to explore solutions to the problems humanity faces today. Projects like Dune illustrate that the genre has the capacity to not only envision a world destroyed by greed, political conflict, and environmental decay, but also to suggest ways in which humanity might overcome these challenges, inspiring audiences and creators alike to think critically about their role in shaping the future. As the genre continues to evolve, the influence of Dune will likely encourage a greater emphasis on sustainability, ethical decision-making, and the intersection of technology and society. As new films, television shows, books, and games draw from Dune's narrative themes and visual style, the genre will increasingly address contemporary global issues and offer innovative storytelling methods to tackle them. The ability of science fiction to reflect societal anxieties and provide imaginative solutions will ensure its continued relevance in the years to come, positioning Dune as a key touchstone in the genre's evolution. In sum, Dune Part 2 is not only a significant event in the world of cinema, but also a milestone in the ongoing evolution of science fiction. Its influence reaches far beyond the confines of the silver screen, shaping the future of the genre and inspiring creators across multiple media platforms. As sci-fi continues to explore the complex relationship between humanity and the planet, Dune stands as a powerful reminder of the genre's potential to provoke, challenge, and inspire, offering a lens through which we can better understand our present and imagine our future.